The next speaker is Pavel, and he brings us back to a topic which we had in the last days, meteor clusters, some special event. So, please.
Good morning again. In my talk, I would like to tell you something about our analysis of meteor cluster which was observed a few years ago above Brazil. Meteor clusters are usually supposed to be an evidence for the fragmentation of the meteorites in the interplanetary space. There are some earlier reports of such clusters at the beginning of the video era, but few strong evidence were found during the recent Leonid meteor storms at the turn of the centuries, where three big clusters were identified by Japanese astronomers. In our group, we analyzed two clusters in last few years. One of them was September Epsilon Perseit cluster, which occurred on 9 September 2016, and the second was a huge cluster which was observed by the All-Sky 7 cameras above Scandinavia 2 years ago. The Brazil cluster occurred on 26 June 2019. It consists from 10 meteors which were observed within half a second, and it was recorded by just one camera at the Bramon network station, which was operated by Edgar Maurizio. It is located in São Luís, town which is, or city which is on the northern coast of Brazil, on the Atlantic Ocean. The camera was aimed to the north-northeast at elevation of 45 degrees. It means above the ocean. No other record of this cluster was found. Initially, it was suspected that the meteors could belong to Gamma Sculptoid meteor shower, which is on the working list of Meteor Data Center. So we firstly tried to search if this could be a solution for our atmospheric trajectories, because we have no more information from one single station observations. So we use the information we have, a position of the meteor, direction of its flight, and angular velocity, and this plot shows some possible radiants which are possible for this parameter for the angular velocity and direction of the meteors. And you can see that Gamma Sculptoid radiant is relatively close to some of these solutions. So in first step we calculated the atmospheric trajectories with this radiant. For the first meteor, the brightest one, we found very consistent solution for the radiant, but the velocity was almost 20 kilometers lower. For other meteors, the radiant was not so perfectly fitting the Gamma Sculptoid radiant, and finally we got trajectories for all 10 meteors. You can see their 3D projection here and on this plot. Out of it looks relatively good. Close look on the plot shows that the trajectories are, some of them are parallel, some unparallel, and also there is a relatively big spread of the radiance, so it doesn't look so well. So we moved to another solution on the previous plot, so somewhere to lower declinations, and found another solution for the main fragment, this radiant and geocentric velocity. We again received reasonable beginning case of the meteors, but the plot looks even worse. they are trajectories with different slope which are not parallel, and also the spread of the radiance was even bigger. So we tried another radiant which was around the zero declination, and this is this solution. Here you can see the radiant parameters for the main fragment. Beginning are again reasonable, and the trajectories are well parallel. And also, if you look on the radiance, this cluster or this solution provide us with a relatively compact set of radiants. There is a comparison of the radiance of all three solutions, so you can see that the number 2 is very bad. So there is a widespread of right ascension of the radiance, and on the other side, the number 3 solution is relatively good. There is one meteor which is shifted by 2 degrees, but it was very faint. It was recorded only on 3 frames, and I have to say also that the quality of the video was not so perfect, so it's probably artifact of processing. Another feature which we are interested in is the displacement of the fragments relatively to the main fragment, and we are interested in the position in the anti-solar direction. It means what's the position of other fragments in this direction relatively to the main. The color lines shows expected positions for different masses of the meteoroids and for different age of the cluster. So there are all 3 solutions, and you can see that the measured values for the solution number 3 approximately follows age of the cluster of 24 hours. I have to say that this is under assumption that there is no ejection velocity, so ejection velocity is 0, and only radiation pressure influence the movement of the fragments. The movements of the fragment is can be described by this equation, which consists from the term which includes acceleration due to solar radiation pressure and velocity or acceleration, ejection velocity, and we can analyze the position of each meteoroid and calculate its velocity or its kinetic energy for different age, and we found that the minimum value of total kinetic energy is consistent or could be consistent with the age of the cluster. So in this case, we found for our 3 solutions that the age is from 1 day 11 hours to 1 day 4 hours. And in all cases, this is doable only with very, very low ejection velocities. There are 3 possible fragmentation scenarios, and we can distinguish among them according to ejection velocity. And all the clusters we already analyzed, and this one is one of them, had low ejection velocities which are consistent with the fragmentation due to thermal stresses. There's a comparison of the clusters we already analyzed. There is another one which was already mentioned by Jeremy. This is Tau Herculid cluster observed last 2 years ago. We found some other meteors. At this moment we have 51 meteors for this cluster, but the work is still not finished. The Brazil cluster was very compact in comparison with all these other. When projected on the ground, all the trajectories fit in the very small area of 350 kilometers square. There was a mass separation. It means that the faintest meteors were more shifted by the solar radiation pressure from the main body. It was very young, approximately 1 day and some few hours, and also the ejection velocities were extremely low. So, what's the summary of this work? There are two general conclusions. So, if we have a cluster with more meteors, even single station data can provide us with reasonable trajectories, with reasonable solution of atmospheric trajectories, and it could be used for analysis of the cluster origin. Another result is that even if we found a solution which doesn't look so well, it doesn't influence another analysis too much. In all these cases, we received similar age of the cluster, similar ejection velocity, and the original process was very similar. For the Brazil cluster, it was very compact cluster, very young, and it was characterized by very low ejection velocities. So I have to thank to Brazil astronomers Edgar Mericio and Marco Zurita, because they were so kind and shared the data with us. And my final message is, we would be very happy if you record any meteor shower cluster, even from one station, and if you would be so kind and share the data with us, we would be happy to add it to our data set, because if we have more clusters, we can make more results. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pavel. There's still time for a question or two. Soko?
Pavel, in your theory, you think that the meteoroid disintegrated at one point. Could it be that it was also not like an instantaneous event, but like it started to disintegrate and then it released gradually?
Actually, you are right. And it seems for the Tau Herculid cluster, it seems that there is no one solution. We have several concentration of the points. So this could be a case when the fragmentation is continuous. But actually, we have only a few cases. We are still at the beginning, so we need more to understand the processes. So we are lucky that we are able to say at least one fragmentation point, but of course it could be continuous fragmentation, and yes, you are right.
Okay, one more question in the back.
Could you go back to the slide where is the 3 radians, minus 60, 0, and 20? Yeah, that one. Did you try to put the radiant for approximately plus 10? Because I think maybe it will be even better correlating, and chi squared would be even smaller.
I didn't but yes, I can try, of course.
Okay, thank you once more, Pavel, for this very nice talk.